Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the DJI Osmo Pocket, retailing for $350 US. What you see here is really a revolutionary product. Now, reviewers have had their hands on this for some time, and it's gotten somewhat mixed reviews, I'll say. But there's no question that what DJI has done here, well, it's never been done before. Of course, I had the original Osmo, which was gargantuan compared to the Pocket version, and yet we pretty much have all of the features, if not a more polished product, now at a substantially lower price point. That is roughly or literally just about half of what the original Osmo or Osmo Plus cost, and we have something that is actually pocketable. So I'm excited about this. Granted, it has a small sensor. It is still capable of 4K HDR at 60 frames per second, and even though you don't have log or any of those nice things, it's still incredibly impressive for its price point. And while this will garner comparison or a comparison to many of the, how should I put it, action cameras. In fact, DJI themselves have been really comparing it to other action cams. In fact, it's marketed on, Best Buy's website as an action cam. I would say that's only because of the size of its sensor and its portability. Now, the one issue I can see with the Osmo Pocket off the bat, besides me trying to get it up, there was a seal, out of the box. And we have your Osmo Shield right here in order to get extended coverage, protection, which is nice. And they do have underwater enclosures and things like that for this, and selfie sticks designed for it. But the only problem I really see with this product is it has a built-in battery. And DJI basically is telling you that if you feel that that battery's lifespan is not enough, you can always hook it up to an external battery pack. And while that may be an option, it is far from ideal. So there we have the actual Osmo Pocket. Again, a 3-axis gimbal that can fit in the palm of your hand. And basically what they've done really is they've taken a gimbal off of one of their drones and stuck it on this, tiny selfie stick, if you will, with a record button. Also the ability to hook up to your cell phone right here. It does come with adapters. I'm going to show you right now for both iPhone as well as USB Type-C. God forbid things were simple and everyone was on Type-C, which is where the world should be. You've got your included wrist strap. And then this is actually a case. I'm going to get the paperwork out of here, but this is actually the included case for the Osmo. And there are the instructions for those of you wondering how to actually put it in. DJI trying to make this idiot-proof. It looks like I've got the correct orientation, but meanwhile, as I say idiot-proof, I'll probably be the idiot. No, there it is. So in it goes, and you're ready to go. And this is in your pocket, your purse, your bag, your camera bag. And I don't look at this as a primary photographic tool. I mean, it takes stills also, but of course I have much better cameras than what DJI has included here. But I do look at this, again, as a revolutionary product. But, that's because it's giving us something unlike we've ever had before. When I think back to the original Osmo and how I thought it would change the action cam game, I really never imagined that we would be seeing something like this. But it made perfect sense for DJI to make it because, again, they had all of the tools, but, this did come at an R&D cost. I mean, how do you make such a small gimbal, create, a dedicated device like this, then factor in the app support, firmware update capability. It does have a screen right here on board, a tiny screen at that, which you can use independently of a smartphone. You can see it right there. Or, as I mentioned, you can use one of the included adapters. Here's our Type-C, and go ahead and use your phone as a viewfinder as well as a control. Now, there are also accessories you can purchase for this. They are not available as of yet, but there we have a standard Type-C adapter, which I'll be using with my Note 9. You slide it right on, or at least that's what I think you do, right? And now you can connect your phone and have it as a viewfinder for the Osmo Pocket and be walking around and shooting. Now, this is ideal for vlogging. It does have a relatively narrow field of view. That's another one of the areas that it gets flack in this first offering. And I think this is the beginning of what will be a very successful product, because when I see people walking around with phones mounted on, 3-axis gimbals, yeah, they're very inexpensive, but I also think they're really stupid. And this fills that gap. Those of you out there who have been using your phone on a gimbal, well, now you can pick up one of these and you don't have to run down your phone's battery life. Yes, it's another thing to carry, but it's called the Osmo Pocket for a reason. So while this is being marketed as an action cam, I think that's only because they really don't know any other way to market this. I mean, unless you're, really after a pocketable gimbal, there is no other way to sell this to the mass market and have it make sense to traditional consumers. And that's why I think it's been dubbed an action cam, because it doesn't have a wide angle like most action cams. It doesn't have a true underwater housing. Yes, it has one, but it's not like my, the Sony action cam that I can go scuba diving with. And also the tiny sensor, like any action cam, really is not going to do very well in low light. But I think it's somewhat brilliant. Of course, it takes micro SD cards. Again, the biggest pitfall, really, if I had to be very critical without ever having used it, which is what I'd be doing right now by saying this, is, again, the built-in battery. After all, that is the death knell for obsolescence. At some point, this is going to die because that internal battery is not going to be able to hold a charge. And then furthermore, the field of view. But beyond that, I mean, to have... even for an average user, I think this is a fantastic holiday gift. It just was released today. It's everything that I look for in a new and revolutionary product. And there you can see I'm starting it up, which I should have done a while ago. It is a touch screen for those of you wondering. We're going to go with English. And you can see it's already right now filming. Now, the only issue here is that to actually control the gimbal, you need to have your phone. I mean, otherwise it's just going to tape, like a gimbal, or rather act like a gimbal, that wherever you look, it's going to follow smoothly, which is very cool. But in order to actually take control of this gimbal, you will need the phone with DJI's companion app, like all of their products, which I think it's fairly straightforward. DJI used to have a lot of bugs. Now most of those have been worked out. And if they haven't, DJI is relatively quick to address them because they have grown immensely, and for good reason. Innovation, folks, that's what we're looking at here in the Osmo Pocket. So be sure, I will be posting samples. This thing is incredibly cool, and I look forward to sharing it with all of you. Again, this is the Osmo Pocket, $350. I'm going to power it down, and I'll give you a much deeper and detailed update as well as review once I've had the opportunity to do so. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.